I just want to let you guys know that this is just a theory, and don't go down in the comments and be an ass about it if it's wrong. Hey guys, so yeah, this is just a theory, but anyway, about a week ago we had the classified end cutscene put out on the internet. There was 3 people who did it. I think. Trying to remember who it was. It was Pluto, DK Dynamite, and the Gaming Revolution. They got this end cutscene for Classified, and whoa, like big twist. But my theory is that all of this has happened before, as we've been told repeatedly, that it's a cycle that we go through with the Primus and the Optimus and crew. It's a cycle that we go through repeatedly, and the cycle's been broken. That's my theory. So my theory is that the cycle has been broken in Blood, because when we play Blood of the Dead, the intro cutscene says you're late, and the timeline's been screwed up because it was meant to be a cycle. We were meant to be there on time and get everything to go in order on time, but we messed up. The timeline has been messed up, and the cycle's changed, and the Chronorium pages have changed. And if we look at the Blood of the Dead Easter egg cutscene, Richtofen says some very interesting lines. At one point, if I do recall, he says that it should have been me.
I want to be me.
Like the Richtofen that we're playing as in Blood isn't the Richtofen that we've actually gotten to know. And if Classified is to come after Blood, hear me out, this is just a theory. If Classified is to come after Blood, that means that Nikolai, Dempsey, and Tuck are all changing the timeline pretty much. The whole cycle has been changed. And in the Classified cutscene, it's like normally Richtofen is the one staying everything and leading, but in the Classified one, Nikolai is.
Is that your plan, Nikolai? To give up and drink yourself to oblivion? Or do you want to make a difference for once in your life? You!
Oh, Scheiße.
You 4 must come with us. In time, it will make sense. But now...
Intruders on the base. Hangar 4.
Now we must go, quickly. There is a war to be fought.
War? What kind of war?
A war unlike any you have ever seen. The Great War.
And Classified has to come somewhere in the timeline after Blood, because in Blood, Nikolai pretty much gets the Chronorium.
That will not be necessary, Nikolai. The future has changed.
The Chronorium?
Read it. Learn of your true calling. You must keep your soul. It will be needed to defeat Dr. Monty.
Who?
And in the past, Richtofen has had the Chronorium. Richtofen has been the leader. But now that Nikolai has the chronorium, it's possible that Nikolai is the new leader of Primus, of the crew that we play as. And in the classified cutscene, alright. So of course, classified is gonna have to come after Blood, because in the classified cutscene, Nikolai talks about the Great War, but at the end of Blood, Nikolai has no idea what the Great War is, and once Richtofen gets into the mechanism on Blood, the post-rev Richtofen comes out in from the Great War, and he has to find him, and it's just, what if all this time we weren't following the right storyline? This entire time with Richtofen being the leader and trying to end all of what's happened, maybe we were going about it all wrong. Maybe, just maybe, Nikolai was the one who was meant to lead us. But the reason Richtofen did was because he was smart, and he had access to all of the element 115, element 115, and all the technology about teleporters and all this stuff. Maybe we were following Richtofen just because he had all of this, and now Nikolai is the leader, and you can see Richtofen with them, with Nikolai, Tuck, and Dempsey come out of the portal in the classified cutscene, and it's just, what if Nikolai was always meant to be the leader? Nikolai was bound from the start to end up the leader, and if classified was post-Blood but pre-Rev, which is not, but it could be, but it's not. It's definitely not, because Nikolai knows about the Great War in the classified cutscene. So Nikolai is clearly the new leader of Primus, but Richtofen died, say that with quotation marks, in Blood. But it wasn't our Richtofen. It was a different Richtofen, and we didn't know that it was a different one, because, well, Tark, Dempsey, and Nikolai follow Richtofen no matter what, because Richtofen apparently knows how to survive all of the zombies. But does he actually? That's the thing. And in Blood, like I said earlier, Richtofen said it was supposed to be me. Like, he isn't the Richtofen that we've gotten to know over time. It's a completely new Richtofen that was trying to take credit for all of the stuff that our Richtofen had done. But our Richtofen is actually, hear me out. The Richtofen that we've gotten to know has gone back in time, but this could be a whole new dimension that Blood is in, because we know that, well, the zombie storyline has a bunch of different dimensions, right? So maybe, just maybe, the dimension that Blood is in is completely different, but Blood is post-Rev, because Blood is in the exact, so we have Revelations, right? After Revelations, Dr. Monty sends Dempsey, Tuck, Richtofen, and Nikolai all to a new place that he's just created, which is the Great War. But in Blood, the Great War, Richtofen comes out of the freezer, which means Blood of the Dead not must, but is highly likely to be in the exact same dimension as the Great War, which is a completely new dimension from everything else that we've had in the past. Because after Revelations, they get sent to the Great War. We've never heard of the Great War in any of our other adventures, pretty much. It's never been mentioned. And now, all of a sudden, it's just here. And the Richthofen from the Great War is in blood? Doesn't really make sense. It's just, how did he get there? The only logical sense is he found a way back in the Great War to freeze himself, and then he brings himself to the future pretty much, which is blood. And which would mean that blood and the Great War are highly likely to be in the same dimension, which is a completely different one to everything else that's happened. And then where Classified comes in would be post-blood, but post-blood, but post-rev. Huh. Now that I think about it, because you have the Great War, then blood. Where does Classified fall into it? Classified could be anywhere. It could be post-blood, pre-blood, post-rev, which it definitely is because I know about the Great War. But what if there's a completely new cycle, and the DLC maps that will get released to Black Ops 4 is going to explain that cycle? We honestly don't know what the DLC is going to be. Just no one knows. But what we do know is Classified has to be post-blood and post-rev. It's definitely post-rev because I know about the Great War. But premise, the Great War, premise, the premise Richthofen from the Great War is in blood and gives the Chronorium to Nikolai, creating a completely new cycle, away from the cycle that we've had before. This is a completely new one, a completely new dimension pretty much, because after everything that happened in Revelations, and since it's the Great War, and I reckon it's the Great War, then blood, and Classified comes after blood, and they picked up a new Richthofen, or the premise Richthofen from the Great War that we see in blood come out of the freezer and a cryogen thing is the Richthofen that we see in Classified with Nikolai, Tuck, and Dempsey when they come out of the portal. That Richthofen is the Richthofen that comes out of the cryogen in blood, but he's picked up some new clothes, and he's explained to Nikolai and all that about the Great War and what's going to happen. See, but Nikolai doesn't know about Dr. Monty yet. Richthofen, the premise Richthofen, Great War, he mentions Dr. Monty, but Nikolai has no idea who he is in blood. It's just a whole lot of more timeline bullshit. Anyway, guys, so yeah, that's just my theory. Pretty good one, I hope. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.